Okay, so my brain's kind of chaotic right now, and I'm just gonna film myself getting through it. A, because I feel like it holds me accountable to like look at myself, and then B, it also means that I'm less likely to reach for my phone whenever it's filming something, so yay! And C, at worst, I just have some B-roll content if I need it. So, do I want to be a content creator? I kind of do. What the fuck does content creation mean? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna rant about that for just a second. What the fuck does content creation mean? Hello? You know, content is the vaguest fucking term I have ever heard in my life. Technically, a movie director is a content creator. A 3-year-old with a camera is a content creator. Content? What do you mean? What is the content? You know? So saying I want to be a content creator, okay. Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? There's a million different ways to do that, you know? I know what I don't want to do, at least. I think. You know, I like being an influencer and like maybe like being like, "Hey guys, I like this thing." I would only want to do that if it's authentic. You know? I don't want to hide myself, but I also don't want to change myself. Hank Green had a really great quote that it's just really rattling in my brain that says, "What you see on the internet is 100% me, but it's never 100% of me." And that really rocked my world because, like, I can never be 100% authentic on the internet. I can't. I can never be 100% authentic with anybody. And that's kind of sad. But especially with anybody who is viewing me through a 2-dimensional screen. There is the filter of, I'm sitting in front of a camera right now that I hit record. I'm aware that I'm being observed. I am talking to myself in my car right now, and if you are trying to start a conversation with me, it'll be at a later time after I've posted this to the internet. That's just how it is. It's a limited form of communication, but at the same time, it's a form of communication that allows me the creative control to present myself. And it also gives me the opportunity to communicate with people I would have never been able to communicate with. And to maybe make people's day brighter that I would have never met. So I don't know exactly what it means to be a content creator. I don't know, man. I just know that it makes me happy sometimes to post. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I post things and I'm like, girl, you just wanted to post something. You just wanted the dopamine rush of hitting post and have people like your thing. Yeah, I've done that before, and I don't want to keep doing that. I only want to post something if I actually give a shit about it. Maybe that's another rule I could have for myself. You know? But sometimes I post something, I just see something that gives me inspiration to talk, and that's all it takes. And then, you know, I maybe get some people that comment on it, I get a couple likes on it. Sometimes I'll post something and I really like it and no one else likes it, and that's also okay. That's not the end of the world to me. So I almost want to figure out my relationship to the act of posting something and making it public versus the actual response of the public, because I can only control one of those things. And typically whenever you post something, obviously you want somebody to have positive reactions to it. You want people to enjoy it, but you can't really control that. You know, the best you can do is just make something that you enjoy making and hope that other people see the authenticity behind it. It's almost like an act of faith, an act of gambling, an act of hoping that you have good luck, you know? Anyway, I filmed this so I could meditate. You see how that went. Oh my god, okay. I just think that, you know, the new year's on the horizon. And I've done a fuck ton of growing the past like 2.5 years, if not more. Especially this past year has been a lot of growth. And it just feels like every time I thought I couldn't grow any more, any faster, it kept fucking happening. But I'm at this precipice, is the word that's coming to mind, where almost all of my change has been internal. And I now want it to be external. But that's the scary part. It's scary, you know? It's easy in a way. I mean, it's still hard, but I think I've gotten used to healing in private and dealing with my own shit in private and just using that as almost an excuse to keep hiding. But I think the next thing I need to heal is my fear of being perceived and my desire to hide. I'm still really not sure what I want to do with my life on a big scale. I have a couple of ideas. I have a lot of things I want to try, and I want to see if I have any luck with them. And I've talked about my relationship with social media a million times before. It's something that just keeps banging in my brain. And I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing because I was raised on the internet in a lot of ways. I don't know if it's I don't know. There's the more spiritual side of me that's saying I keep getting drawn to it because it's where I'm meant to be. And then there's the more practical side of me saying, bitch, that's real cute. That's real cute. Are you sure it's just that you don't like to have that dopamine, oxytocin, whatever fucking rush of people liking your stuff? And therefore you feel better about yourself? Are you sure it's not just that you're seeking external validation? Like, Miss Girl. I don't know. I think that I've also viewed social media as kind of like a get rich quick scheme in my youth, I say, as if I'm ancient. Yeah. By some people's standards, maybe I am. But I think, yeah, I viewed it as like a get rich quick scheme. Because, you know, that's a lot of things that I see on here is like how to post and get 1 million followers in 5 minutes. Like, typically not how it goes. Let's be real, not typically how it goes. Yeah. No, girl. Especially, also, if you get, okay. So I've seen that. And I've also seen the kind of people where that kind of stuff does, in a way, happen to you. Okay, even people who blow up. The vast majority of the time, minus maybe Huck to a girl, but, you know, she's, I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Every update I get of her does not make sense to me. But, oh, buddy. Sorry, there's a kid screaming. Me too. But, like, you see these people who do blow up overnight, and their audiences are not people who give a shit about them. Their audiences are people that go, hey, do the thing, do the one thing that you're known for. And I don't really want to do that. I know that there's worse fates in the world than being a one-hit wonder that's financially and technically successful. And I'm not trying to shame those kinds of people, but I also see their path versus the path of other creators that I admire, creators that might have had, at some point, they reached a point of, it seemed like almost exponential growth, but there was a big lead up to that parabola. Is that the right word? I haven't been in math class in a long time. But there was a long lead up to the actual exponential growth part of it. At first it was just like, okay, you get 1, you get 2, 4, 8. Like, you know what I mean? It takes a while. It takes a while, even for exponential growth. It takes a second. But then one day you turn around and, you know, 64 turns to 128, you know, the whole thing. I don't know where I'm going with this. I do know where I'm going with this. Never mind, I found it. So basically what I'm saying is, I would rather be posting on the internet and just being authentically myself and sharing my thoughts and being who I am and just kind of figuring it out. And I would want social media, I've said this before, I'd want social media to fit into my life. I don't want to make my life about social media. And I think that that's a good line for me to draw right now, because yeah, it would be nice if, like, you know, I became one of those influencer baddies and I get to go on trips because people sponsored me to go. That I would do that. Just saying, I would. And but that's not what I'm talking about. I wouldn't want to live for social media. I wouldn't want to be like, oh, this is such a sweet, tender moment that I'm having, let me film it. I've done that before, or I've had the inclination to do it before, where it seems like every single moment of even vague interest is something that I would want to post, because it's like, well, this is interesting to me, maybe it'll be interesting to other people, and I understand where that was coming from, but I also think that there's a destructive side to that. I want my life to be my life, and if it's something I choose to share, it's something I choose to share. If it's something I choose to not share, it's something I choose to not share. You know? And honestly, part of me, I'm so fucking glad I wasn't successful. That sounds horrible. I'm so fucking glad I wasn't successful whenever I was really, really trying. Because, girl, I know your brain wasn't as developed yet, so I'm cutting you a bit of slack. I know you haven't learned as many of the lessons that I have, and I know that you were trying your best. But god damn it, you made so many mistakes. And I know I'm going to be the person that's the most critical of myself, because I was there, I was present during all of my mistakes. I am the only person in the entire world that has been present during 100% of all of my fuck-ups. But I'm also the only person in the entire world that has been present during 100% of all of my not fuck-ups, of my successes, some might say. So it's a two-sided, double-sided sword, you know? But part of me is really grateful that I didn't get the success that I craved so desperately, because I think that that desperation was an indication of the unhealthiness, you know? And I think that it's going to be something that, when I continue this journey, it's going to be constant. I'm going to constantly be struggling with the need of, like, getting better views than I did last time, getting more likes than I did last time, getting more comments, getting more followers, getting into that numbers game, because that numbers game is so easy. There's a reason why slot machines exist, and there's a reason why social media can be just as addicting, even if you're not posting. Like, you know, just the doom scroll of it is addicting. So, how do I create something to be consumed without being consumed myself, is basically the question I have. Because creating content, spilling all of the contents of myself out onto the internet, that's not what I want to do. You don't need to know every detail of my life. In fact, it'd probably bore the shit out of you if you knew every fucking detail of my life. That's something else. Social media is supposed to be a highlight reel, babe. If you think my life is all glitz and glam like it is on social media, girl, I will tell you it is not. I am posting the most flattering pictures, I'm posting the funniest moments, I'm posting the most interesting things, because if I posted every single goddamn moment, it would be boring as shit. You would not be entertained. It would be a lot of repeats. It would be a lot of, okay, I'm driving to work, I'm going to work, I'm driving back home, I'm driving to work, I'm driving back home, I'm I'm doing this errand, I'm going to this store that I've been to a million times, I'm doing, like, I have routines, I have boring shit that I do all the time, and that's fine, and it can be mine, that's okay. My life doesn't need to be consumable in order to be a content creator. I don't need to change who I am in order to be a content creator. I have people who love me. I'm very good at customer service and getting somebody to walk in, me immediately connecting with them, entertaining them for at least a few seconds, and letting them go. I do that shit all the time. Maybe that's a great prep work for this, you know? If you followed me around so much, you'd realize how many fucking scripts I have and how annoying it is, how, like, often I repeat dialogue just to, like, make sure my brain doesn't fry because of how much I have to talk. But yeah, I like that. I like, my life doesn't have to be consumable. My life is more than how easy it is to turn into a two-dimensional thing for other people to see. You know? It will always be more than that. Even if maybe in the far future, some weird alternate reality, I turn into a reality TV star and there's cameras following me around all the time, there's still going to be moments that are mine. There's going to be a lot of shit that they cut out. And that's okay. And also, but it's hard for me to wrestle with that and also understand that I have a voice that's worthy of being heard. You know? Why would you want to hear my voice? I'm not an extraordinary person, I don't think. I'm just me. But of course, the way to make somebody seem ordinary is to spend a fuck ton of time with them. And guess what? I've spent a fuck ton of time with myself. You know? I've been there for every birthday, every crying session, every time I stayed up too late like a dumbass doing something stupid like just scrolling on Instagram. I have been there for every little mistake, every little win, every time I was nice, every time I was a dick, every single time I've been any sort of the human experience, I have been there. So I don't feel like I am extraordinary. But at the same time, I don't need to be extraordinary. You know? I think that if more people who were okay being who they are and not having to rank themselves, because also let's dissect that word, extraordinary. Extraordinary, right? It's placing yourself above the ordinary. It's a little bit of superiority, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, there's definitely some people who have skills that I would call extraordinary because it is way above the average person's skill level, and that's fine. But calling a person inherently extraordinary, I'm going to start saying extraordinary and be annoying, aren't I? Calling somebody extraordinary is interesting because it's placing them as a person, not their skills, them as a person above the ordinary. It's putting them on a pedestal. I've been put on pedestals in my life. I've put myself on pedestals in my life. And the thing about being on a pedestal, it's really fucking lonely. And I haven't been even placed on that high of ones, you know? I think I've confused. That guy just went really fast for no reason. Girl, this is a Target. What are you doing? Sorry. I think I've confused viewing the potential in myself and having faith in myself that I will be successful one day with putting myself on a pedestal, with feeling like I have to feel superior to do that. I think that whatever success I do get, it will most likely be unconventional. I just have that feeling. You know, I'm not the type of person to have an office job. I will be so for real with you. You know? Because, like, I actually like the retail jobs I have right now. You know? I think that it's not something I can do forever, but it is fun. I like it. I like talking to people. I like talking about fashion. I like talking about, you know, where people are from, getting to know people, having just a little fun conversation with people, and then saying goodbye. Maybe actually having a couple of relationships with people who come back consistently. You know, that's a thing. So I don't know. I just know that if I keep containing all of my potential, I guess because I'm scared that I've put myself on this pedestal And if I actually turn this potential energy into kinetic energy, actually see what it can do, see how far it can go, I think there's that ego part of me that put me on the pedestal in the first place that's scared that once that potential is released, I won't get as far as I thought. That it will actually have been foolish for me to ever think I was even worthy. And maybe that's true. Girl, maybe it's true. I don't think I put myself on a pedestal because I genuinely think I'm better than anybody. I think I did it because I didn't think I was better. I thought I was worse. I thought that if I failed in one way, but if I could succeed in others, it would make sense. It would all even out, and I wouldn't have to feel as much shame. I put myself on a pedestal because of shame. And I need to come down. It's a lot easier walking on level ground. Actually being able to see eye to eye to people. And that's the thing, is I think I've been coming down from that pedestal for a long time. I think that the more I socialize, the more I see and meet people, the more I'm just myself and people seem to enjoy it, the more that pedestal seems unnecessary. But it was to protect me. I said that a pedestal was lonely, and I think it was because I don't even know if it was a pedestal as much as it was a means of isolation. It's easier to justify isolation if you're saying it's because you're on a pedestal, not that you're fucking horrified of everybody, of being rejected, of being told you're a failure, of disappointing people. But I've also just reached a point in my life where I've disappointed people. I felt like a failure. I've had people say, in not so many words, that they think I'm a failure. And it hurt. But pain hasn't killed me yet. So it's easy for me to say all these things, all these little truths, all these things that everybody knows, kind of in a way, that just like, well, I guess I shouldn't give a shit about what they think. It's easy to say that, isn't it? It's so easy to say that. And then actually doing it is so much harder. Fuck. I guess I'm doing the classic thing, like, new year, new me. But like I said, I've been growing for so long, and it's been so much internal growth that hasn't externalized as much as I would hope it would. And I think that this is as good a time of any to have a bookmark, to have okay, this is the turning point. I'm on the precipice. So I might as well, Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed my ramblings in a Target parking lot. This may or may not be going on the internet. I think it will. God damn it, I filmed in vertical, and this is probably going to be a YouTube video. I thought it was going to be a 1-minute TikTok short, but my brain doesn't work like that sometimes, okay? So you're just going to have to suck it up about the aspect ratio. I'm sorry. Anywho. I meant to meditate, and instead I just basically hosted my own podcast episode in a Target parking lot. That's a great way to describe me. If you've never met me before, that's a sentence to describe who I am. There you go. Alright, well, I'll see you in 2025. Doing something. We'll figure it out then. Alright.